Hello everyone, welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Abhilasha and I will be taking you through today's session on vocabulary which is focused on IPMAT and JIPMAT. Guys, this 5-year MBA or the integrated MBA is something that is slowly becoming very popular, and if you are one of those people who are preparing for it, well, this is just the right place because every Monday we do one session on the verbal ability section of IPMAT and JIPMAT. Of course, we are covering vocabulary now, presently, and therefore you should join in and learn as much as possible. Today's session, of course, is focused on foreign words and phrases. We have done 2 more sessions prior to this on foreign words and phrases, and I hope those were helpful, and I'm hoping that this one will be too. All right, so before I begin, okay, quick request, do remember to hit like, share, and subscribe, of course, because the like and the share is for us, and the subscribe is so that you get notifications of any further sessions that we do. So do join in, guys. All right, let's start. I do hope I am audible and visible. All right, so we are going to be covering some foreign words and some foreign phrases. These are all from mixed languages, so therefore, please do not worry that what are you learning? Well, you will be learning important words and phrases for your examinations. So let's do this. All right, so the first one, sui generis. Sui generis is something that is, how should I say, it is something which is very one of a kind, unique, something uh, that is incomparable, right? So sui generis, unique or in a class of its own, something that is incomparable, right? So one of a time, one of a type. The Kohinoor, of course, sui generis, nothing to be said about it. It is something that is very uh, unique. There is no comparison, and therefore, best answer for you, unique, sui generis. Ceteris paribus, which means all other things being equal. That means if you keep everything else equal, then one thing keeps increasing or decreasing, so you call it ceteris paribus. So the law of demand states that demand will increase or decrease depending upon the price, all other things being equal. So if you keep everything equal, so ceteris paribus is what you say in such a case. Sorry, forgive me for the random definition, it may not be right. Okay, please don't um, get scared. All right, so all other things being equal. Ex post facto. So ex post facto means after the fact or after the event. Remember, post means after, just like pre means before, okay, or anti means before. Okay, so for example, you have something called um, anti-meridian, which is the time AM, and you have meridian and you have post-meridian, which is, yeah, so anti-meridian is 11 AM and post-meridian is 11 PM. So you already know this, right? How to frame the time like this. So anti-meridian and post-meridian. So similarly, post means after. So once something is over. So facto, of course, is fact. So ex post facto is after the fact or something is applied or done retroactively. That's called ex post facto. Okay, something done after the fact. So a lot of times what you will do is you will change something ex post facto, right, after it is already done. In toto. In toto means in totality, entirely, as a whole. Okay. In absentia, which means in the absence of. So somebody is not present, so you are doing something in absentia, okay, which means in the absence of. So there are a lot of other Latin phrases also which use the words in. So for example, in absentia, then you have in camera, which means inside a room or in closed doors. Okay, in closed doors. So when you do something behind closed doors, or when a judicial proceeding is done in camera, that means in closed doors or in a chamber. Something is done in extenso. Oops, let me erase this. So something is done in extenso, that means in great detail, right? Extensively. So holiday homework is never done in extenso. Okay. In vitro, we have heard in vitro fertilization. Of course, you have heard about this, which means vitro is glass. So in artificial environment is in vitro, right? IVF, you have heard of. So in artificial environment. Okay. In situ means in its original place. Wherever something is, if you keep it there, then you're keeping it in situ or in its original place. Okay, so these are a few idioms or few Latin phrases that you can know, and ideally you should know it. Okay, all right. So that's those are a few. Okay, mutatis mutandis, with the necessary changes having been made. So certain things have to be done. Mutatis mutandis, which means with the necessary corrections. So, for example, you're applying a new rule, or you're bringing in a new law, somebody reviews it, and then you present it mutatis mutandis, that means with the necessary changes having been made. So when the corrections have been done, it is called mutatis mutandis. All right, non sequitur. Non sequitur means something that does not really follow. Okay, so something that is not in this thing, but it is irrelevant. So non sequitur is a conclusion that does not follow. It can also be an off the cuff phrase or statement. Okay, that also works very well for non sequitur. Okay, a statement made under oath, of course, is a testimony. Okay, so that would not work. The others don't work. All right, ipso facto. Ipso facto means by the fact itself. So by that very fact or by the fact itself is ipso facto. Remember, facto is fact. Okay, so wherever you see this, you know that it is related to fact. We were doing ex post facto. So after the fact or something that is done. So ipso facto, by the very fact. According to law is de jure. Okay. There is another phrase which is called de facto, which is according to fact. Okay. So according to law is de jure, according to fact is de facto. All right, modus. The word modus or mode means method. Okay. So modus vivendi comes from mode and viva. Viva means life. So modus vivendi is mode of life or how you live life, right? So the method of living life is called modus vivendi. Okay, so practical arrangement to coexist despite differences is a very good meaning for this. Then you have another word or phrase which is called modus operandi. Modus operandi is mode of operation, okay, or how you work. Mode of operation or how you work. So that is modus operandi. So criminals have a specific modus operandi. Okay, so they have a particular way in which they will work. All right, casus belli. Casus is cause. Okay, and remember bellu or belly. Wherever you will see, will have something to do with war. So casus belli, of course, is the cause of war or an act that justifies war. So something which says that this war is done in the right way, that is casus belli or cas or related to that. Remember words or phrases like antebellum and postbellum. So antebellum means before the war and postbellum means after the war. This is the American War of Independence. Okay, so you use the phrase antebellum or postbellum for the American War of Independence. Okay, antebellum and postbellum. All right, sine qua non is an essential condition, something that has to be done. Okay, so that is sine qua non. So something that has to be there. So for my family, the presence of my mom is sine qua non. It is essential. Without that, nothing in my family will happen. Okay, so that's the one that you're talking about. All right, let's take a look at some foreign phrases also. So, fait accompli. Fait accompli is something that's already done. So, it is irreversible. It's already done, so you will not be able to change it. So, there is no changing the outcome. It's a fait accompli. It's done. Okay. So, a lot of times we do that to our parents. Now I know that my mother is or my father is going to refuse this thing. So you already do it and then say, oh, I've already done it. So it's a fait accompli, then you can't do anything. Parents can't do anything. So it's already done. It's irreversible. Coup de grace. Now, coup de grace, okay, so the word coup means rebellion. Okay. And there are many words or phrases that you will find associated with coup. But coup de grace is a decisive final blow. So it is that one attack or one blow that will kill someone or that will destroy someone. So it could be used for a business, it could be used for a person. So coup de grace. So the bankruptcy was a coup de grace for the business, or the poor quarter was a coup de grace for the business. Okay, so that is a coup de grace. The pronunciation is gra, not it's not called coup de grace, it is called coup de grace. So coup, of course, is a rebellion. Okay. Then you have many types of coup. So the coup d'etat. This is not called coup d'etat, it is called coup d'etat. Coup d'etat is a rebellion by the people. So when the people of a country will rebel against the government, then it is called a coup d'etat. So there are two very good examples. One is Arab Spring. So that was the Egyptian revolution that happened. And also in China, there was an attempted coup d'etat in the Tiananmen Square, which of course was a failed one. But so definitely that also. So these are some examples of a coup d'etat. In our neighboring country, that is Pakistan, there have been many coups, but they've all been coup de forces. So that is the military or the armed rebellion. So when the military will rebel, then that is called a coup de force. Okay. Then coup de maitre is a master stroke. So that's a master stroke, something that our politicians are really great at doing. Okay, so these are some coups. The word coup has a parallel in German, which is called push. So that is the rebellion again. Okay, so these are a few words that you should know. All right, raison d'etre is the reason for someone or something's existence. The reason of existence, raison d'etre. Okay, so that's one more. Okay. All right. A tour de force is it's essentially one very brilliant display of your skill. So something that showcases your brilliance, your talent, that is a tour de force. Okay, it's a French phrase. Okay. Carte blanche. Okay. So the word carte means card, okay, or paper, and blanche means blank. So it's a blank piece of paper or effectively a blank check. Okay, it's a blank check. Now, a blank check, what does it do? So, if you don't write the amount in a check and just sign and give it to someone, that's a carte blanche. What you're saying is that you can fill up whatever you want. All the money in my bank account, fill it up, take it away. So, that's a blank check. Similarly, when you give someone a carte blanche, you are giving them complete freedom to act as they want to. Okay, so all right, for this project I'm going to give you carte blanche. That means I'm going to let you do whatever you feel like doing. Okay, so that's complete freedom to act as one wishes. Okay, all right, cause celebrate. Cause celebrate is something that is being discussed, or an issue that is, really hitting public attention. Okay, so that is a cause celebrate. Celebrate is celebrated, right? Related. So celebrated is discussed, talked. So currently, the US Iraq war, sorry, Iran, not Iraq, huh? US Iran war is a cause celebrate. We are talking about it day in, day out. So also is the FIFA World Cup, isn't it? So these are all things that we are talking about. There's another phrase which is called Zeitgeist. Now, this is also something that is being talked about, but this is sort of the theme or spirit of the time. Okay, so what is going on currently, or what is the present vibe? That is called the Zeitgeist. Okay. All right, bête noire is something or someone that you dislike. It is your enemy, somebody you would detest. Okay, so bête noire, something that someone dislikes, detests, absolutely abhors. Okay, generally a person. So, for example, Sherlock Holmes. Who knows who the bête noire for Sherlock Holmes was? It was Professor Moriarty, right? Sherlock Holmes' best friend was Watson, but biggest enemy was Professor Moriarty. Okay, so therefore they were bête noirs for each other. PSD resistance is the most outstanding item, something that is so amazing that you just can't resist it. So the most outstanding item or the PSD resistance in the dinner tonight is the dessert. Okay, so the most outstanding item is the PSD resistance. Nom de plume. Now, nom de plume is essentially a pen name. Okay, so writers, actors, generally people who have a public persona take on different names. Those names are called nom de plume. For example, Hector Hugh Munro called himself Saki. So that was his nom de plume. Harivansh Rai Bachchan. So, but he was Harivansh Rai Srivastav. So he called himself Bachchan. So Bachchan was the nom de plume. Correct. So pen names that writers, actors would use, those are called nom de plume. Esprit de corps. Esprit is spirit, feeling. The, of course, is off, and core is a brotherhood. So this is a feeling of pride that is shared among a group of people who are like, it's a feeling of brotherhood. That is esprit de corps. So when all of us get together and we're like, have you seen that huddle in a football field? All the footballers will go who, whatever. So that is that esprit de corps, brotherhood, one for all and all for one. That's your esprit de corps. Okay. All right. I hope you've understood these words. my suggestion will be that you revise all of these words and also keep reading more and more words. Your vocabulary book would have some, and you could also Google up some more. All right, so remember to keep practicing. Remember to hit like, subscribe, and also share this session with a friend. If you wish to enroll at Career Launcher, all you need to do is connect with us on 8130-038-836. Okay. All right, guys, that brings me to the end of this session. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place, with one more session for your favorite exam, which is IPMAT and JIPMAT. Let's keep practicing. Bye bye.